Yep, my desk is fucked. Anyway, hello, I'm going to be unboxing a 3DS collection today. I have been planning to do this for a while, but I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to start. It might all fall over, but, whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to show you most of them to start with. So, we have the Rayman 3D, and then that's the start, and then it goes up to here, and then... So yeah, let's start with Rayman 3D. So Rayman 3D, it's an interesting game. It came at launch, since we're going by release dates, and it was okay, I guess. It has a lot of problems for Rayman compared to other Rayman games. Like, a lot of broken things. Like, you can't even beat the game really 100% because one of the LUMs is missing. One of the final collectibles you can't even get in this version. So you can't actually beat the game. Here's the back. I don't think I'm going to be showing you the back for every single box. I'm just going to be giving you a brief introduction of the game, and that's about it. But, Rayman 3D is Rayman 2 Dreamcast version, and that's about all you need to know, other than the fact it's not as good as the Dreamcast version. You should probably play a different version. Super Monkey Ball 3D, another game that is probably not that great, but as a launch title, we didn't really have anything else to play. I'm actually going to be doing a review on this soon on the channel. I'm going to be trying to review every single 3DS game I own, starting from launch date to the end of the cycle. So this is probably going to be the first one I review, so keep an eye out for that, and subscribe and comment if you want to see that. Actually, don't comment, who the hell cares about comments anyway, But yeah, Super Monkey Ball 3D, it's an interesting game, it's pretty easy. There's like weird mini games like racing, so it's like if you want to play Mario Kart at launch, this is like the only way you could play Mario Kart, kinda, but it wasn't really Mario Kart, it's like a very simple kind of game. But yeah, Monkey Ball 3D. Dream Trigger 3D, I haven't actually played this one, I heard it's interesting. It's another launch title game, and it seems to mostly be just a tech demo for the 3D stuff. Like, why is it called 3D, Yeah, I haven't really played it, so I can't really say much about it, but... It's a launch title, so it's probably not going to be that great, but we're going to get into better launch titles soon, so... The next game is Ghost Recon Shadow Wars. This game is okay, I guess. It's very, like, strategy, RPG kind of game, like Codename Steam or Final Fantasy. No, not like Final Fantasy. Like Fire Emblem or like Codename Steam or something like that. But it's nowhere near as good as those kind of games. It's very, like, very basic kind of strategy game. Not amazing, but not horrible. It's basically what you would expect, really. Yeah, another Ubisoft title, and also another Splinter Cell, no, Tom Clancy title. This is Splinter Cell 3D. I still have the stupid sticker on it. But anyway, this is basically a really weird port of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is like a PS2 game, and they put it on the 3DS, and it has some 3D effects, but mostly you kind of need dual analog for this game, and it doesn't really work well on the 3DS, and it's kind of clunky. And also, I'm pretty sure the frame rate isn't that great either. It has like dips and shit, so probably not worth playing this on the 3DS unless you really want to play this game on the go, which you can do on like the Switch now, I think. I'm not sure if you can play this game on the Switch, but maybe. Now, for the first of two fighting games on the 3DS launch library is Dead or Alive Dimensions. This is a very basic Dead or Alive game. I think it's okay. I haven't really tried it out much. As for Dead or Alive games go, I haven't really played many of them, but I think this one is okay. Tell me in the comments if this one is good or not. I haven't really tried it. One thing is, though, is Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. This is a pretty faithful recreation of the PC and PS3 version of Street Fighter 4. It's kind of funny that this game was given away for free for the 30th anniversary edition, but except for the Switch version, which did not get it, because they did not have Street Fighter 4 on the Switch, even though it has it on the 3DS, which is kind of funny, I thought. But yeah, this is a version that has like very easy to use controls, because if you use the touchscreen, you could end up just like pressing the buttons for like the moves and stuff, and it has all the characters from the Super version, which is nice. So yeah, I would say this version is actually pretty good, if you want to play it on a handheld, that is, with the terrible stick. But you can use the touchscreen to play with the moves, which is pretty handy. Another port of a game, this is, I think it's Rabbids in Time, but on the 3DS. This is like a Wii game that was ported in the 3DS version, in 3D. Wow. Yeah, this is just a port again, so nothing special. It's basically just Rayman 3D. I don't know if it's just as bad as it. I guess it's more impressive considering this is like a 3D Wii game. and it has like the weird step into 3D, which doesn't actually come up on my camera. The first Lego game, which is also releasing on the DS, and I'm pretty sure it's very similar to the DS version, Star Wars 3D, Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars. So this is like a botched down version of the console games, like it's missing a few levels and stuff. So it's not as good as that. It's very similar to like the DS versions, and for the time, the DS versions were pretty good. Like for Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, it was pretty decent in comparison to the like console versions. But for this, they've taken a lot of cut down stuff to the levels, and it's not as good, I don't think, compared to the other versions of the game. And it's also really not really worth buying, other than if you want to have better graphics or if you want like 3D and stuff. Like, it's very similar to the DS version. Now for what I think is the best launch title on the 3DS, Pilotwings Resort. This is very similar to like the Wii Sports Resort flying game, but instead of just having flying, you also get like gliding and a hovercraft. And then you also later on get like more powerful weapons, like a bike that you can like ride in the air, and a super hovercraft, and then like a jet, like a freaking Mach 20 jet, which is pretty crazy. And then you can like fly to different parts of the island, and I'm pretty sure they have like islands that weren't in Wii Sports Resort as well as this game, because in this game you have like two islands, the main island and then like another island after, if you get far enough. But the biggest problem I have with this game is that there's a time limit for like the free reign section, so you can't just like endlessly explore the world. You have only like a 4-minute timer, so you basically have to like race to get to the other side of the place. But the best bit about it is probably that the missions are pretty good. Like, there's a lot of missions that you can do, and you can get like perfect scores, and you can like do better and better. And once you get all 3 stars in each level, you get like the last set of missions, which have like really cool like missions and stuff that are like way harder. So if you like try and 100% this game, you get a lot of better content. But a lot of people say this game is short. I don't really think so, because if you like try and do everything in it, it actually lasts a pretty decent amount of time. So yeah, I would say this is probably the best 3DS launch title. But considering the other games, it's not really that much of a stretch. Now for the last 3DS launch title, we have Steel Diver, which has a weird like rectangular 3D cover. This game is very slow and very meticulous and strategy orchestrated. That's probably not the right word to use, is it? But anyway, but yeah, this game is a very like control-y kind of game, like with a load of buttons and stuff. You like push down to go on the submarine, make it go down and up. It's kind of like Echo the Dolphin, kind of, but like in a weird way. Yeah, I haven't really played too much of this, but I think it's fun. It's very unique. It's not exactly like very fun. It's very like slow, easygoing kind of game. But if you like that kind of thing, it will be for you. But if you don't, if you want like a more fast-paced action kind of game, this game probably isn't for you. Now, after the 3DS launched, there was a big time gap between like good games on the 3DS, and we had to wait until June for the next big game, which was, you guessed it, Ocarina of Time 3D. This is probably one of the biggest games that came out in 2011. Yes, it's just a remake, but it's a remake of one of the best games ever made, and I would say it's even better than the original. So what did they add? They added, obviously, better graphics in 3D. They also upped the frame rate. They added a boss rush mode, and they also added the Master Quest Mirror mode, which is basically the GameCube's Master Quest, but mirrored at the same time. And also, I think it's harder. I'm not sure if the original version had, like, the original Master Quest from the GameCube had, like, less hearts and double damage, but this version does, so that's nice. It is a shame they didn't add any, like, new dungeons or anything, but, like, considering how much better it is than the already amazing Ocarina of Time, I would say this is well worth buying. So yeah, get it. If you haven't played Ocarina of Time 3D yet, please buy the game and play it and do whatever, I don't know. Then, 3 months later, we got another 3DS game, which is also a remake of another N64 game. This one is Star Fox 64 3D. As you can see, I already still have the freaking packaging on it of the price I paid. But yeah, this is also a very good remake of Star Fox 3D, and it also has online gameplay, which is really, really cool, I guess. Especially considering there wasn't many 3DS games or Nintendo games that had 3D, no, not 3D, online support back then in 2011. So yeah, this is pretty much just Star Fox 3D. They didn't really add any new content, really, except for like the online and multiplayer stuff. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty good remake, I guess. Then this is like the time where 3DS games started ramping up, because soon after we got this Shinobi game from Sega. I haven't really played this one, but I heard it's like a good 2D platformer thing. Well, the back of the box shows it has like a 3D aesthetic, but it's mostly like a side-scroller. So yeah, if you want to play a side-scrolling 2D kind of action-y game, like this might be for you, but I haven't really tried it yet, so. Now for the big one, Mario 3D Land. This in Europe came out the exact same day as Mario and Sonic and Skyward Sword on the November 18th, 2011. Which was a very strange marketing move for them to do. I don't know why they thought it would be a good idea to sell 3 games on the same day, especially considering this game came out like a few weeks earlier in like Japan and America. So I don't know why they decided to do that. But anyway, this game is very good. It's a little bit short, but considering it's a 3DS game, I kind of expect it to be shorter than a console game. The only problem I have is when you get to like the special areas, they are basically just the same levels, but just like unfairly ramped up in difficulty, and they're not even hard, it's just like ridiculous, like how they have just multiple Marios chasing you, or there's one hit, you die in one hit. It's kind of just like naff difficulty progression. They could have like made harder challenges, like in other Mario games they actually make the levels harder, but in this game it's just like, here's a load of shit at you, just figure it out on your own. It's not exactly challenging, except for the final level, which I guess is more challenging, but it's not that hard. Especially if you use like the raccoon leaf thing. It's basically very easy to do that then. And also, to beat the final level, you have to beat the entire game as Mario and Luigi, and you also have to get the flagpole in every single level, which is kind of a pain. But I guess it adds replayability, so yeah. Then the week after, they released Mario Kart 7. This is also a pretty good game. There's not much content on it. Like on Mario Kart DS, you had like the mission mode, which was a lot better than what they had on this. But in this, you basically just have a normal battle mode, and then like the retro courses, and then the main courses. And the main courses are pretty damn good. I mean, they're freaking good. But as for like the new content and the new like gameplay mechanics, they have like flying and swimming. The problem I have is like most of the flying and swimming sections, especially in the retro levels, they seem like just butchered in. Like they don't really add much to the actual levels in themselves. They're basically like, here's this area that didn't have water before, now it has water. Look how different it is, except it's the exact same freaking thing. And then in like Maple Treeway, they just cut off the branch part and put a flying section in. It didn't add anything. It just made it seem like they just wanted to add it. They forced it in, which doesn't really help anything. Because when I first saw the game, I thought they were going to like add like open world underwater sections where you could just like completely go off course. But no, it's not really like that. It's basically like there are certain parts of like where you can go in the lake and out, and that's it. It's very simple in terms of like how they added it to the game. I would have liked it to be like more open and that kind of thing, like being able to like fly anywhere in the place or like go underwater in any of the parts, but no, they didn't really do that. So Super Pokemon Rumble, I heard that this game was pretty big when it came out, but I never really played it, so I don't really have much to say about it. It's a Pokemon game. It has a lot of Pokemon, and it's kind of like a gacha thingy game. They had like a free-to-play version later on the 3DS, and yeah, that was okay, I guess. But this game I haven't really played, so I can't really say much about it, so yeah. Next we have Freaky Forms Deluxe. This is kind of like a deluxe enhanced version of an eShop game called Freaky Forms. This is like a weird game where you could like make your own creatures and like have them have weird voices. And I think it's pretty fun if you like want a simple game. But for the time they were charging like $40 for this game, and I don't think it's worth that, but I got it for like £5. And that was pretty good. So if you just want like a simple fun game to play on like the train, make weird characters. But I think it's best to have headphones for this kind of game. You can't really play it without headphones. But yeah, if you want a fun game to play like when you're on the train or whatever, just make like weird characters and shit, this is a good game for that. Now, the first game of 2012 is Crush 3D. This is like a very interesting game where you like make like platforming levels of like 3D by like pushing the blocks to make it more like get to the other area. It's kind of like Fez in that kind of way where you like change the perspective of the environment to let you get to the end of the level, which is cool. But the puzzles themselves are kind of simple, and the game is pretty like very low budgety. It's not exactly well thought out, and I don't think the game got very good reviews when it came out. But if you just want like a simple puzzle game, this is pretty good. But other than that, it's just okay, I guess. The next game is a pretty big one. It's a bit too big, actually. It's Kid Icarus Uprising. As you can see, the box is freaking massive. Yeah, this is like the bigger box that came with like a cradle thing to put on your 3DS so you could actually play the game. because for some reason this game has like the worst fucking controls ever. Yeah. But anyway, as for the game itself, yeah, this game is one of the best 3DS games, honestly. It's very good. The controls are very iffy, but other than that, like the actual game itself is insanely good. Yeah. I'll do a review on this later because I have a lot to say about it. Basically, the story's good. Like it has 2 modes of gameplay. You fly in the air and then you go on the ground, and it's just like there's a lot of like weapons you can use. It's very much like Smash Bros in the kind of gameplay, but in like 3D. But yeah, very good game. You should play it. Now, Mario Tennis Open. This is a interesting game. So when this came out, it had a lot of cool, like interesting concepts. Like it had like a lot of mini games and stuff. But as for like the main gameplay, it's basically just Mario Tennis. And I don't think this game is any better than Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube, which was the last game that came out before this. So yeah, if you like the mini games, like playing Mario Brothers, the like NES game, while like fucking hitting a tennis racket against a wall, this might be for you. But if you don't really like those kind of mini games, then I don't think this game is worth playing. But it's still better than fucking Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Next game is Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. This game was actually a launch title for the 3DS in Japan, but it didn't come out until like a year later in Europe. I haven't really tried this game. I've only really played the original Professor Layton game, which is not really the original. I played the 4th one, which was like the first one in the timeline, because they went back and went to do like prequel stuff, and this is like the 2nd prequel game that came out, and then there's one after this. But yeah, this is the first 3DS Professor Layton game. They made a few others after this, including the Lady Layton game, which was also on the Switch. It was very weird how they had both games come out on the Switch and the 3DS, but you know, I haven't really played that one either. But yeah, if you like puzzle games, this game is pretty good. It has like downloadable puzzles as well. You could like, there was like 365 puzzles, like one came out every day for an entire year that you could like download after the game came out. And it was free DLC, so that's nice. Next game is New Art Academy. This is a sequel to the DS game Art Academy, which is basically like a mini like art game where you can like learn how to make like art for the 3DS. The problem is the 3DS screen is very small, so it's kind of hard to make artwork on it. It's like more of a fun kind of thing, like if you just want to have fun like drawing a Goomba, which you can like see over here. There's like a Goomba on the screen. But yeah, as for like trying to draw proper art, it's not really the best. I would say the Wii U version is probably better for that, but yeah, it's a fun game, I guess. I haven't really played it too much as well, so... Now for the big one, New Super Mario Bros. 2. This is a very divisive game. It's very similar to New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, and also on the DS. But I actually kind of like this one, because it's mostly focused on getting like as many coins as you can. Like, there's like different levels that are like DLC, where you can get as many coins as you can. It's like a challenge thing. And there's also like other DLC levels that are like really hard compared to like the other New Super Mario Bros. Levels. And also, I feel like the game overall was longer than Mario 3D World. I mean, Mario 3D Land. I felt like this game was a lot more levelly heavy. I don't know what the fuck that meant, but I think this game is longer and more interesting than 3D Land because it's just a bigger game and it has more to do in it. And also they brought back the Tanuki suit, and this time, unlike in 3D Land, you can actually use it to fly. So, next game is another divisive one. This one I haven't actually opened properly. I have played it, but I have it in a shrink wrap for some reason. Paper Mario Sticker Star. I did play this one a bit, but then I accidentally deleted my save. But yeah, this is a very weird game. It's not really an RPG, but it's not really a platformer. It's kind of like a mix of both. It's kind of confusing to understand what to do, because there's a lot of like puzzles that use stickers, but then they don't actually give you any hints of what you need to get to pass the thingy with the sticker. Like, they don't tell you which stickers you need to get past it, so it's kind of confusing. And also the battles themselves, they're very meaningless, because you don't actually get anything for doing them, so you can just completely pass them. So yeah, it's very it's not that great of a game, but if you want just like a nice 3D Mario game with like cool graphics that's in 3D, I guess this is a good game for that. But other than that, like other than the graphics and the music, this game really doesn't have anything special about it. Now for a One Piece game. Actually, I have 2 One Piece games. There's another one over here with Unlimited World SP and SP2. I'll talk about the first one. since they made both of them at the same time, kinda. I think this one came out like a year before or something. But anyway, this game I haven't really played, but this is like an action-adventure kind of game. Both of them are action-adventure kind of games. This one takes place right before the end of the time skip. It's like in the Marineford arc, kinda. It's a sequel to Unlimited Adventure, but this originally came out on the Wii, and then they ported it to the 3DS. And the same with Unlimited SP2. If you probably want to play this game, get the Wii version, but if you want to play this on a handheld, get the 3DS version. Another anime title, this is a Magi game based on the first season Labyrinth of Magic. This is a weird 3D like action game. I haven't really gotten too deep into it, but it seems like a very simple anime 3D action game, and also because it's in Japanese I can't really play it that well, but you know. Now for another big RPG, Fire Emblem Awakening. This was like the big 3DS Fire Emblem game that came out. This was like the last one they were going to do, and if it failed they would cancel the entire series. But this game did pretty well, and they continued making a shit ton more of them. But yeah, this game is actually not bad. I don't really like strategy RPGs that much, but I think this game is pretty good. Like, there's a part where, like, there's like a massive time skip, and then you get, like, to have a son or, like, a daughter. And it has a big presence and story, and like the overworld map is cool, and like you can like make the battles go faster or slow, and you can like watch them and make them 3D and stuff. So yeah, I like this one. Next game is Lego City Undercover. This is like a prequel to the Wii U version, which is like a game where you're like a cop and you go around like kind of like GTA, but like, and you get to like do Lego puzzles and stuff and go around the open world. But this is like a prequel, and it's like a dumbed down version. It's not as good as like the Wii U version, and because it's on the 3DS, it's kind of like it's very small in scope. But if you want to play more Lego City game, then this is a good game for that. This next game took forever to come out, Luigi's Mansion 2. It was first announced in, I think, the launch of the 3DS in 2010, but it might have been 2011. But yeah, they announced it, and then it took about 2 more years to actually come out. And it came out, and it was okay. They have multiple mansions in this game, but a lot of the mansions are kind of meh. They have missions this time. Instead of you just going around the mansion doing whatever, you have like missions in order to like, you have a certain task to do, and then you fight a boss, and then like you go out and do the next mission. So you can't do whatever you want in the mansion. You have to do like it in a certain progression, unlike the original. And I guess the third game you don't do that either. You're allowed to do whatever you want in the third game as well, but it's more like, it's less limited than the first game, but it's more open than the second game. So yeah, this game has some cool bosses, but it's kind of a cryptic in a way. Like, they don't really tell you much about what you're meant to do. It's just like, go here, do this, do that. And there are a lot of these gems that you have to collect, but they're very hard to get them because they don't really give you any hints of how to get them. Now, this next game is a 3DS version of Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii. This game is a mixed bag, honestly. It has new content, like you have a new world, and it's also in 3D, and they removed some of the buttons, like the motion controls. They made it so you don't have to use them. You can like use the Y button to like roll and stuff instead of shaking the controller, which is a great addition. But the problem is, this game is not 60 FPS, it's only 30 FPS. And there is no like new 3DS enhancement to make it 60 FPS. Like, they didn't have it as like an unlocked frame rate, like it's just capped to 30. Compared to the Wii version, which is 60, and for like a 3D platformer, you kind of want it to be 60 FPS, or really, for any platformer, you want it to be 60 FPS. So this one's a mixed bag. It has the new content, it has the buttons instead of the motion controls, but it's 30 FPS, so yet another Lego game. This one I think is actually exclusive to the 3DS, so this is like a Lego game that's only on the 3DS. I haven't played it, so I have no idea what it's like. I'm just gonna guess it's just another Lego game. Now for another big one, Animal Crossing New Leaf. This game was the big summer game for the 3DS. It came out about 6 months after in Japan. It's very weird timing, but I guess it is a good time to play Animal Crossing this summer, because it is very a summery game. Like, even on the box, you can see it's very summery. But yeah, I played this all summer. I played it for about 500 hours. I love this game a lot. It has a lot of new additions compared to like Wild World. Well, Wild World was not Wild World. City Folk, or Let's Go to the City, was very similar to the DS version in terms of gameplay and content, but this version stepped it up a lot. It added many new features, including the Mayor ability, where you can like make bridges and stuff. In fact, they added so many additions, then the next game didn't even have as much stuff as this one, so they actually went down a peg for the next game. So this one, I would say, is definitely the best Animal Crossing game so far. And it even has pretty decent music as well, which I guess all the Animal Crossing games have good music, but I think this has the best music out of all the Animal Crossing games. Now, this game was made for the Year of Luigi as like a celebration game for the Year of Luigi. I guess Luigi's Mansion 2 was also that, but this game was mainly the first game that was announced for the Year of Luigi, and they used Luigi's Mansion 2 as like a game that they already announced for that. But yeah, this is Mario Luigi Dream Team Brothers. I guess this was like in response to like Paper Mario Sticker Star not being that great. But yeah, I haven't played this one. I've played Paper Jam, but I haven't played this one. So you basically go into like Luigi's dreams and stuff. I don't really know what it's like. I guess it's just another RPG with Mario and Luigi in it. So if you like those, play this one. Now, Etrian Odyssey 4 is the fourth entry in the Etrian Odyssey series. This game, unlike other Etrian Odyssey games on the 3DS, is actually not that expensive. Most of them are really freaking rare and expensive, but this one seems to be pretty cheap, so if you want to play any of them, probably play this one. It's like a dungeon crawling kind of game where you go for like generated dungeons and you like battle enemies. It's a very simple RPG where you get to like control unique characters and like fight enemies. So if you like RPGs, that is another RPG on the 3DS. There's a lot of RPGs on the 3DS, including this next game, another RPG, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoners Soul Hackers, which is I think it's a remake of a Sega Saturn game. Of all the games to remake a Sega Saturn game is a very surprising one. I haven't played this one either. I haven't really played any RPGs on the 3DS, to be honest. Most of the RPGs I haven't really played because they're so long. But yeah, this is a Sega Saturn remake. This game also isn't that expensive, I don't think, compared to the other Shin Megami Tensei games. I don't really know what this game is like. I guess it's pretty simple considering it's a Sega Saturn game. Now, the last game for today is Doodle Jump Adventures. This is just Doodle Jump, I think. It has new exclusive levels. If you play Doodle Jump on the phone, you probably know what to expect. I guess it's more like a story game than the original Doodle Jump, but I think the game is pretty similar. And it also has 3D, I guess. But yeah, that's going to do it for this. I will do the next one, part 2, soon. Please like and subscribe if you want to see the next part. And I'll see you next time on Rukasumi. Bye-bye.